Hi everyone, I am so very excited to bring you this video where I am going to show you Kaleidos's most recent new collection. Actually, it hasn't released yet. It releases in June 2020, and I am just very fortunate to be able to explore the collection with you ahead of time and give you a sneak peek of it. So this video is going to be not only a swatch video, it's going to be kind of an unboxing, and I will do applications of various products that are in the collection. Kaleidos is one of my all-time favorite brands. It's fairly new. It won the award for 2019's Best New Brand in my Allura Awards video, and they just continue to impress. So if you've never heard of Kaleidos or never checked them out, please do so. I'll put their information in the description box below. Any pricing information that I'm able to get, I'm waiting on that right now. I will also include that in the description box below for you. Thank you ahead of time for subscribing by hitting that red subscribe button and following Allura Beauty on Instagram, and of course liking the video if you enjoyed it. And if you haven't checked out the latest video, I will also link that in the upper right hand corner. It was a very different kind of video. It was an anti-haul video that I did, so I go over things that are new in skincare and makeup, and I give you the reasons why I'm not interested in those products and I don't intend to buy them. So I'll link that in the upper right hand corner if you haven't checked it out already. So this new collection is called the Make Your Escape collection. It came in a kind of suitcase like this with a lock on it. This just exemplifies the reason why Kaleidos is such an exciting and amazing brand. They never disappoint. A lot of videos that I do, of course, I'm interested in the things that I'm showing you and swatching and reviewing for you, but Kaleidos's products, nothing else really gets me so excited. It's such a breath of fresh air in a market that is so saturated with new makeup, new brands, new collections all the time. It's hard nowadays to impress people. I have never ever been bored or felt anything but super excited about new Kaleidos makeup collections and products. So this is sort of the packaging, the PR packaging that the collection comes in. So we're gonna open this up and look inside together. The first thing comes in this kind of cup, sort of like if you went to an ice cream store and bought a couple scoops, they would give it to you in this kind of container, which is really cute. These are makeup sponges, and there are two in here. You have kind of a neon-y lime green one and a lavender one. The lavender one is mostly smooth with one flat edge, and the lime green one has sort of 3 flat edges and, well, I guess 4 flat edges, and then the teardrop curve for the rest of it. They feel very, very soft to the touch. I unfortunately already applied my foundation, not realizing that these were in the collection, but I'm going to use them to apply my concealer, and I'll let you know how they work. I'll probably use the lime green one for that purpose, to use this edge underneath the eyes. So let's just go ahead and start with that. I'm gonna really lightly spritz it. I know a lot of people, they dampen the brush, they actually saturate the brush. I tend to not do that. I'll just lightly spritz on the surface. And then just tapping in. Feels really nice on the skin. Again, soft, malleable. Okay, there's one pretty thin layer of concealer and how it blends out. I'm gonna go in with another pretty light layer. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Blends out nicely. I feel like dampening the sponge does shear out the product a little bit, so if you wanted something more full coverage, you may just want to leave it dry and see what happens that way for application. This one is a lot softer to the touch when I compare it to another sponge that I have at my desk. I don't actually remember what brand this is at all. I know it's not a beauty blender, but I don't remember. Oh, actually now I do remember. It's a sponge from Sephora. I think it came in a kit of variously sized sponges, but this one is it's just not as silky and soft. This one is very smooth to the touch. All right, next up we have an eye primer, which I didn't expect them to create. It's called the Tone Activator Eye Primer, and this is what the tube looks like. If you ever want to see close-up photos, you can always go over to the Instagram page where I have stories and photos of new products like this. So it's a twist-off cap, and that's what the dispenser looks like. So the product is tinted. It's a pretty thin formula. It moves really easily across the skin. In fact, I probably, even though I only used a little small drop, it's probably more product than I needed. Okay, so this side has the primer applied, this side does not. It's so close to my own skin tone that it doesn't make that much of a difference. I don't know if you would be able to tell. I also don't have a lot of discoloration in my lid area to cover up, so I'm not sure how much this would cover up if you did have discoloration in that area, but I like the way it settles in the skin. It feels very thin. It's not gloopy or sticky or heavy. Next up is the eyeshadow palette that they have released, and it's called the Escape Pod. Ultra pigmented, highly blendable, multi-chromatic. An instant escape to the most sublime realms of your imagination. Includes 4 sparkling duochromes, 1 sparkling shimmer shade, 1 metallic shade, and 9 highly pigmented mattes. Wow, this is what the packaging looks like, and it opens up like so. So you get a mirror on the inside, get a protective plastic sheet, and then you get your, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 eyeshadow shades. Kaleidos has not made a 15 palette pan like this, so this is their first one. And if you've never seen my other Kaleidos videos, maybe I'll make a playlist just dedicated to the Kaleidos makeup and collections that I've reviewed. I'll link that in the upper right hand corner for you. But let's go ahead, let's jump to doing swatches of these shades so I can show you all 15 colors, and then we'll come back and I'll do an eye look for you. All right, so here is what the palette looks like up close. So fun and visually very captivating. This is the back of the palette. It says, "A vehicle for change navigates smoothly between imagination and reality," on the bottom there. So it opens up like this, like we saw. And here is a close-up of the shades. Like always, I will swatch these over eyeshadow primer, and I do that with an eyeshadow brush, and I'll swatch them by row, starting from the top row to the bottom row, and I'll swatch the shades left to right. And I love that each of the shade names is right underneath each corresponding pan. This time for swatching purposes, I'm going to use the e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush. So we're going to start with this shade called Soire. It has an escape button design on it. So Soire is this super bright kind of electric lavender color, the matte finish. Second shade is Mardi Gras, and this is another matte shade. It's another vibrant purple color. This one's more violet as opposed to lavender. Shade number 3 is Flamingo. This one is a bright kind of fuchsia pink shade. Shade number 4 is called Tango. And this one is a matte, super bright, pretty classic orange shade. In the pan, I thought it looked a little more like a fiery orange, but I think this leans a lot more towards just like a classic bright orange shade. A little bit of a red undertone, I guess. Shade number 5 is Exoplanet. And this is like an iris shade. It's like a mix between a purple and a blue. Another matte finish color. So that top row is all mattes, and I should clarify that this is technically a pressed pigment palette. That means that there are certain shades that may not technically be eye safe Obviously, people use pressed pigments all the time on the lid, so it's kind of up to you to make that personal choice. But these, to me, do seem like they are consistent with the way pressed pigments function. Beautifully bright, vibrant colors. If you wanted to use more of a patting motion, they should work really well that way, but these happen to work fabulously with a traditional swatch with an eyeshadow brush too. All right, getting into the sparklies. The 6th shade here is Starlight Sonata. Oh my gosh. I have no idea if you can pick this up on camera. What an insanely gorgeous shade. This is a glittery, sparkly, kind of very pale, slightly peachy champagne color. And then the sparkles are like peachy, goldy, and a hint of green in there. Absolutely stunning. Shade number 7 is Amaretto. And this is a metallic, shimmering, warm rose shade. And this also flashes with some violet sparkle in there. Shade number 8 is Space Oasis. This one is, wow, super vibrant, sparkly lavender with what looks like a blue flash. Shade number 9 is Cosmic Cabaret, and this is a very metallic, more traditional, slightly violet-y purple. Number 10 is Galactic Gala, and this one, oh wow, it's a very bright neon-y lime green with a green and gold flash. So we had all metallic shades with several duochromes in that row. Moving on to shade 11 is Saturnalia. And this is a deeper kind of goldy olive green, metallic finish. They just look so liquidy on the skin. Amazing. Shade 12 is Bossa Nova, which is a matte brown. This is kind of like a medium, slightly cooler toned camel shade. Shade 13, Loaf Eye. And this is a matte, creamy, light nude. It applies so effortlessly. Shade 14 is Carnival. And this is a matte, very bright coral. Beautiful. And shade 15 is Terrace, which is a matte, rich, deeper, chocolatey brown. So here are all 15 shades, absolutely stunning. If you go to the Instagram page, I will also include photos or videos of how these look in sunlight, because especially with the duochrome shades and shimmering shades, it just really shows you how incredibly gorgeous these are when they're in direct sunlight. And then you can see the difference with artificial light versus sunlight. But as you can see, they're just all super pigmented. They function really well on the skin. A lot of times when you have things like pressed pigments or shimmering shades, you know, they work better with application with a damp brush or with a patting motion, but the brand Kaleidos always manages to get the quality so high that these function just perfectly fine with a normal traditional eyeshadow brush. And curiosity is getting the better of me, so let's go ahead and swatch all the shimmering shades with a dampened brush, and I'll go back in and do finger swatches. So we start with Starlight Sonata. It's actually more watercolory with dampened brush, but I love the contrast of the peach and the greeny gold shimmer. Again, I don't know if you can see on the camera that picking up. Next is Amaretto. Applied with a dampened brush. Space Oasis. Cosmic Cabaret, Galactic Gala, and Saturnalia. So I think overall more of like a sleek wet look with the last three, and then honestly a little more watercolory toned down for the first three colors. So if you want a little bit of an amp up, then better with the last three shades, and if you want something more pastel-y and sheer, then go with a wet brush for the first three. And then last, I want to see what we get with finger swatches. So we've got Starlight Sonata. Whoa, so freaking pretty. Amaretto and Space Oasis. Just love these names. And then we've got Cosmic Cabaret, Galactic Gala, and Saturnalia. So definitely if you wanted the most impactful application, then finger swatches or finger application might be the way for you. And actually, before I jump back to doing the rest of my face with these products, let's go ahead and keep doing swatches of them. So these are two blush duos. They're called the Loaf Eye Duo Blushers. So here's what the packaging looks like for each of them. They flip open like this, and you have that plastic covering again with the highlighter on top, or the shimmering blush, I guess you could use that also as, and then the matte shade on the bottom. You do also get a mirror in the lid. So this duo is called Lo-Fi Rose. And there you can see up close the design on top. And this one is Lo-Fi Peach. And this is the design for that one. For swatches, I'm going to use this brush, which is the e.l.f. blending brush. And we're going to start with Lo-Fi Rose. I'm going to start with the shimmering shade on top, which is called Bloom. So Bloom is a very metallic shade. It's got shimmers of pinky rose and gold in it. Definitely a duochrome kind of shade. And then the matte shade is called Mood. And this is consistent with the name, a matte rose shade, sort of a medium rose shade. Looks beautiful on the skin. Definitely don't think you need to build it up, but I will add a second layer to see how it builds on the camera. So here's layer number 2 of Mood. All right, then moving on to Lo-Fi Peach. This shimmering top shade is called Igari. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this one is a kind of metallic finish, peachy pink. You have flashes of that peach and flashes of the pink. Now the shimmer particles on this shade are much more finely milled than with the highlighting or shimmering shade on the first duo. And the matte shade is called Punch. And this is a matte peachy toned nude color. Very nice pigment to it. I really don't think you need more than one layer, but let's just go and experiment and see how it builds up. Okay, so there are brush swatches of your two blush duos, and I think if you want a more strong metallic punch with a larger shimmer, then the rose one is the way to go, or if you want something more refined, then the peach one is the way to go, but both of them apply wonderfully, and those matte shades are really beautiful on the skin. Also going to go ahead and do finger swatches with these shades for you. So we've got Bloom, wow, and Mood from the Rose palette, or duo I should say, and Igari and Punch from the Peach palette, or duo. I don't know why I keep saying palette. All right, so there are those shades up close. And then in the package, there were 4 highlighters, but one of them is from the original set of highlighters that Kaleidos released, and that is Ray Ryder. I'm not sure if they reformulated it or not. I think I remember hearing something about them reformulating it, which kind of surprised me because I thought the formula was great on this the very first time that they released it, but I guess they wanted to make certain improvements. So that's what this looks like. Because I already have this, I'm going to include this in a giveaway for one of the viewers. I think another thing they added was this piece to help protect the pan. The first time around, I think one of the highlighters, maybe 2 of them, did come broken, even though the packaging was very robust. So I think they've added this to make it even more robust. So this is the packaging for these 3 new shades. One of them has a more rubbery matte finish, and that's Diamond Dasher. And these other 2 are more like metallic tins. So this is Moon Cruiser and Mars Melter. Let's go ahead and look inside at these. That's what Mars Melter looks like. Moon Cruiser. And Diamond Dasher. And as you can see, all of these came intact. None of them are crumbled or broken. All right, same brush from e.l.f. going into Diamond Dasher. And this is a glittery, very pale champagne with pink and gold, maybe some specks of blue shimmer in there. I'm gonna go in there with the second layer and see what happens. Ooh, super pretty. Now you do see a lot of fallout here, but you have to remember I'm using a much bigger brush than you would use on your face to make them more apparent so you can see them on camera through swatches. I'm gonna swatch Moon Cruiser next. And this one is, ooh, it's a duochrome. It's pink and blue. Looked like a frosty white base. I mean, it does have a frosty white base, but the shimmer that comes across is pink and blue, which is super interesting. And again, with another layer there. And last is going to be Mars Melter. Again, looks like a frosty white in the pan. Ooh, on the skin. Okay, frosty white base, but mostly what you're getting across is kind of like a rosy, burnt rosy pink shimmer. Again, let's build it up. Okay, so that's what you get with a brush swatch. Each of the shades. And let's see what we get with finger swatches. A lot of the time you can use these shades as eyeshadows too. So we've got Diamond Dasher, Moon Cruiser, and Mars Melter. I even have some on the back of my pinky there. Mars Melter. All right, so if you wanted to pat those on the lids, then that's more of what that would look like. And then we have a Lucid Lip Gloss, which comes in the shade Hypnotize. And this is a semi-sheer, glittery, kind of deeper rose with lighter pink glitter. All right, so let's get back to trying these on my face. So coming back to the eyeshadow palette, I'm going to first start with Loft and put this just all over the lid area as a base. I'm gonna go into the crease with Bossa Nova to help transition the other colors. And I actually tapped off my brush on a washcloth before going in here. I had a feeling it would be pretty pigmented based on the swatches. Okay, so hopefully you can see the difference between that eye and this eye. Okay, so part of me is conflicted. I kind of want to do a green look But I think the one thing that is missing here is I wish there were a green base, like a matte green. I think otherwise this is a fantastically put together palette because they've made sure to include the transition and the matte shades that you need, like the cream base, this transition color for the crease, and the darker brown for the outer V or to deepen up the crease. And then on top of that, they have the matte pressed pigments that you can use for those brighter shades, and then the metallics that you can use on their own or you can put on top. But a lot of bright palettes forget to or don't include these kind of transition and really fundamental shades that a lot of us use even when creating a bright look. So I really like the fact that they've remembered to include those. I am most drawn to this shade, Starlight Sonata. And I want to use that so bad, but I feel like I should do a bright look just because there's so many bright shades. So stay tuned for the next video after this. I will try to also use this palette to create that eye look, and I'm definitely going to use this shade when I do a second look. But for now, even though I'm super tempted by these shimmery greens, I think I'm going to do a purple look. That will let me use more of the shades here. So I'm going to go in with Soire in the crease, using a more pointed narrow brush than I did for the Bossa Nova shade. Then I'm going to go in with the original crease brush and blend that out. Even though this is what I believe is a pressed pigment, which generally can be a little bit more difficult to work with, I'm having a pretty easy time, at least so far, with this shade. I'm going to add a little more, go a little higher up so that it peeks out above my crease. All right, then I'm going to use a dense kind of more packing brush and go in with Mardi Gras. I'm going to pack this onto the lid. Now all I have as the base is the primer that came with the collection. You can see this color packs on really well. It holds its vibrancy. It's true to color. Gonna go back in with Soire, layer that on top and help this transition. Then I'm gonna take this brush. It's still narrower than the original crease brush, but it's a little more dense than the one I used for the lighter purple shade. And I'm going to apply Exoplanet over here. I'm gonna put that in the outer crease or outer V. That layers really beautifully with these other purple colors. All right, so here is the look so far with the mattes. I think I'm gonna go in with, I'm tempted to go in with, what is this, Cosmic Cabaret, but I'm gonna go in with Space Oasis, which is gonna be a lot lighter. Just gonna dab that on with my finger, more in the inner corner. Gosh, that is super beautiful. And then I'm going to not add any more product, but just blend it toward the middle. But I want the most concentrated light color in the inner corners. And then to tie the upper and the lower lash line, I'm going to go back in with Bossa Nova, super fine, almost like a pencil brush. And actually I think I'm going to use Amaretto on the lower lash line, but I'm going to spritz my brush before I do that. Okay, so I've done pretty much the rest of my makeup. I set my foundation, did liner and mascara, and also a very light contouring and bronzing. I already had my eyebrows done. Here is the eye look up close. So let's move on to blush and highlight. And I think what would match best with the purple tones in the eyes is the Rose Duo. So that's what we're gonna go in with. I'm gonna go in with the shimmering shade first, and I'm gonna use my favorite brush from Kaleidos. This is H1, and I use this for highlighting. Whew. That is metallic. Look at that. And immediately I see gold here and rose here. I'm sure it looks different on the camera depending on the angle, but definitely get that duochrome flash. Gonna add a little more. And an e.l.f. powder brush for the matte side. I definitely think the highlight first is the way to do it because it doesn't budge. Once you press it into the skin, this formula stays in place. Whereas if you applied the matte blush first, you'd have to use pressure to press in the highlight on top of the cheeks, and I think that would disturb the matte shade underneath. Okay, so that's a couple of layers applied, no blush. And the final step is to apply that lip gloss that we already swatched, but I wanted to show you the packaging that it comes in, which opens up like this, and the lip gloss is inside. So this is Hypnotize. I'm just putting it over the lips, nothing else applied underneath. You can see it's got good color even though it's a translucent gloss. So that's what it looks like on the lips. All right, there is the completed look. I love that this collection allows you to create almost an entire look just with things in the collection. And it's probably no surprise that I am impressed by the quality. I love the color stories that are in here. I am very happy to see Kaleidos come out with blushes. That's something that I've been waiting for a while now. I hope they keep coming out with more of them. Even single blushes would be exciting to see. And maybe some eyeliners or bronzers next. We'll just have to see what they have in store. Please go check out the brand if you've never checked them out before. Let me know what you think of this look and the products in this collection in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.